your kids play. Talk about the mental toughness of your team coming in here, a hard place to play. You guys came off an emotional win on Saturday, but what's it like to bring your team in here and play in a tough environment like this?
You know, I look at it like this. I've been coming down here a long time. I mean, I was at Notre Dame for 11 years. We haven't won too many times in here. Teams that I've coached, gone a few times. But, you know, I look at it like, if you sign up to play in this league, you want to play in this type of environment. I mean, that's what you've agreed to. That's what you signed up for. And you have to want to compete against a really good team that's playing well. They have really, I think, established themselves. You know, since we played them the last time, you know, Xavier just gotten hurt. They're trying to figure out, okay, who's Shafino going to be the point guard? Is Callaway going to be, who's going to play? You know, and those two have really grown together, I think. Trace is one of the best players in the game right now. Get a healthy Race Thompson back. Veteran club, you know, with Miller Kopp. So it's a hard team to score on. You know, the fact that we out-rebounded them, I think, says a lot about how we competed tonight. We only turned it over 10 times. But again, if you go on the road, you make 13 threes, that's hard to do. And we had a bunch of different guys making them. So you make 13 threes, you have a good shot to win.
Coach, what was it about your offensive game plan that allowed you to get so many open looks? Chris said the basket was looking pretty big to him tonight, but he also mentioned that he got a few open looks.
Well, you know, I thought him hitting those 2 threes early was big, and they were close, but he was, like you said, I mean, a little penetration. I mean, we're just running motion and drive and kick and screen and cut and curl and back cut and move around and then find people. And we got some back cut layups throughout the whole game. We had some opportunities where, you know, Tony Perkins had space to drive it, but that's after we moved it. You know, so I thought our ball movement and our screening and cutting with a purpose was critical. I think if you don't, you're gonna have a hard time scoring against this team.
Coach, what all do you remember about recruiting Tony Perkins?
Well, it was a very unique recruiting experience because you know, we saw him at one of those NCAA events. My assistant said, "Hey, I think this kid's pretty good," and I went to see him and I said, "You know, I agree with you." And then he played for the legendary Jack Kiefer, and Tony, my assistant went down and said, "I think this kid's better than anybody else we're recruiting, and certainly at that spot." And I said, "All right," so I immediately went down there. You know, and Jack said, "What are you doing? You want him or not? This isn't going to be a we're going to like you and then maybe offer you and wait a month. We're going to do this, and we're going to. Kid wants to play in the Big Ten." I said, "Well, let's do it. He can play for me." And it was done right then. You know, and that's how Jack does business. And you know, Tony came up for a visit and fit very well. And I mean, he is really. You know, when you talk about tough guys, you know, tough guys aren't guys that you want to square off. Tough guys make plays, and they come back if they make a mistake, and they come back if they miss a shot. They fight you on defense. They fight you on the glass. They drive the ball, and they understand the game. You know, if he's open, he shoots it. If there's space, he drives it. If he's covered, he moves it. I mean, it's not complicated. I mean, he is a player in every sense of the word. So I'm thrilled for him. We have about 35 family members here today, so that's always a great feeling as a coach when you have a young guy that you love that has an opportunity to do something special.
Did you have any conversations with Tony leading up to this game about what it means playing here?
No, and I don't mean that in an arrogant way. And let's just say he understood.
Coach, to start the second half, there were a few turnovers in that first minute, then the team came back and hit 6 shots in a row. What pleased you about how they showed composure?
Well, very uncharacteristic start to the second half. Give them credit. We turned it over on the inbound. We got a little casual against the press, didn't come meet the ball, and then we turned it over again on a deflection. They scored 4 straight points. You know, we're up 11, so now it's 7. And that would have been an opportunity to panic, and I think give the rest of the lead away. So the fact that we're able to get it back over into double digits and then extend it from there, you know, is certainly what you want as a coach. But the guys showed incredible resiliency there, and we got the stops we needed.
Hey, Coach, talk about Chris Murray and what the Murray family's meant to Iowa basketball and their long history with Iowa.
Well, you know, it's terrific. And I recruited Kenyon, you know, when I was at Notre Dame, and so I've known him a long time. And his boys were the same grade as my son Patrick, so they literally grew up together. And they played against Patrick and Connor in high school. Been going to Hawkeye games since they were born. So for them to have the opportunity to play for us, play for me, and be as outstanding as they are, not only as players, but as representatives of the university, of the state, of our program. You know, we use the term, you know, zero maintenance. You know, there's never an issue. They're in the gym working out, they're in the weight room, they're 3-7 students, great teammates, don't rattle under pressure, and just keep getting better.
So one or two more.
Coach, there was a moment probably midway through the second half where Chris and Phil sat with 3 fouls. You put in Josh Dix and Josh Gunalay, kind of stabilized things for a few minutes till they got back in. Just them being prepared for that moment after not playing much, what you said.
Yeah, I expected them to be able to hold it down, and I think you would probably understand and agree with this. That's a hard decision for a coach. You got two guys that are really playing well, that match up better with Trace, you know, because you know they're going to go to him, you know, with the other lineup that we had. But you know, Josh, he fouled him the one time, but then he had a block and a rebound, and you know, set some good screens. He was solid, no mistakes. You know, and Josh Dix is typically, you know, rock solid. So I wasn't worried, but I wanted to get those two guys back in. You're right. It's not hard, it's not easy to come in that situation.
Coach, the growth that Tony is just showing year by year, what has allowed him to do that?
I think it's a belief in himself. You know, I wish I could tell you there was something miraculous that I did. I don't think that's the case. He's always been a gamer, you know, and you know what that means. You know, I remember it was a COVID year, his freshman year, they get a free year. We had a bunch of veteran guys, so it was going to be a great opportunity for him to play a lot. So we're on the road at Rutgers, and he had injuries and foul trouble, and put him in there. I said, "Oh, this dude is special." He was fearless, driving the ball, stealing, I mean, just handling it, and right in the middle of a very difficult roadway. I said, "Okay, we got something special here." You have one?
Yeah, just every game plays out differently, obviously. But I mean, this is now 4 wins in a row for you against Indiana. Just I guess when you look at what Mike Woodson's done at Indiana, I guess what do you see from this program? And I guess what's allowed you to have this recent success?
You know, I don't know that it's anything ingenious that I've done or anything that they haven't done. The record speaks for itself. We had a couple tough ones, close ones. You know, Mohanna Banks went in from 35 feet. Obviously, that was great coaching. And our guys, you know, come ready. I mean, a lot of it's right there. You know, if you think about it. You know, I honestly believe that the credit needs to go to the players and how they respond. You know, 2 of those victories were in our place. 1 was in the tournament. So I think winning here is, as we pointed out before, that's not easy.
Kennington, one last one.
Coach, overall, much better defensive effort than the last time we played Indiana. Trace scored a lot, but I don't think any other starters had double figures. You talk a lot about being connected on defense. Was that the type of effort that you wanted to see tonight?
Well, absolutely, and you want to see it every night, but I mean, anything short of that against this team, because Trace, not only is he really hard to guard, they go to him. They run good stuff for him. And same thing with Hood Schifino. I mean, he's really come into his own. He had 35 last game. I mean, he's one of the best players in our league. Forget about one of the best freshmen in our league. So when you've got 2 guys like that, with other veteran guys, Miller Kopp shooting the ball well, Race is playing really well. I'm a big Galloway fan, always have been. He's taken his game to another level. So you worry about those guys, but you focus on the other two. And it's hard to lock in there and then still make sure the other guys don't beat you. And I thought our guys did a good job of that today.
Thank you, Coach.